This video and all content on this channel is performed by a pest control professional, and it is always recommended to hire a pest control pro in your area to perform any pest control in or outside your home. Pesticides can harm you and your loved ones. Anyone who is performing the information in this video is doing so at their own risk. If you decide to try the info provided in this video, please always check with the local laws in your area and read the labels of any product you use. The label is the law.
Hey everybody, this is Jason Akers again with Green Acres Pest Control. And today I want to go over natural remedies for bugs and pesticide remedies for bugs. Which is the safest option for you and your family? If you like this video, give me a thumbs up, and if you really like it, consider subscribing to my channel. So I have a lot of videos. I've been on YouTube for 8 years, nearly 8 years. And in that amount of time, I've made a lot of, videos on diatomaceous earth. I've made videos on essential oils. And of course, I've made videos on pesticides too. And usually my stance is pesticides are more effective than all natural remedies. And the reason I say that is because it's true. And the problem with these, what people have deemed as all natural remedies or non-pesticide remedies, because I really don't want to call it natural, because as we get into the video, I'll go over some reasons why they're not really natural solutions. But pesticides have been proven time and time again to they last longer, they work a lot better because of their longevity, because they don't break down immediately as soon as they are applied. Now, some pesticides do. Most pesticides do have a residual, though, of at least, maybe 2 weeks to a month. And they're very effective for that period of time. What does that mean? That means when you spray the pesticide into a crack or a crevice, somewhere where bugs are going to be crawling through it, even after it dries, there's a residue there that will continue to kill bugs. That is how pesticides work. The reason you want something to last for, several days, if not a month, is because bugs have a life cycle. Most bugs, if not all bugs, lay eggs. Those eggs have to hatch. And a lot of pesticides will not kill the actual egg unless it's still in the mother before she lays it. So, for example, German cockroaches. German cockroaches, the female can actually die from a pesticide, and her eggs will hatch after she's dead because she carries them outside of her body in a little egg sac on her body. And so if she dies, they continue to gestate even though she's dead. Bugs like fleas that lay eggs, they actually lay eggs, and the eggs are separate of their body. They lay eggs like a chicken or like a flea. They die when the flea dies, because unless they've already been laid, because the eggs are actually inside the flea's body. And so when she dies, she never lays those eggs. They never actually become viable fleas. But most life cycles of a bug, as far as actual hatch period or even cocoon periods, like bugs that go through metamorphosis like a butterfly, they don't actually die until they hatch from their cocoon or from their egg. So you want a pesticide that will last through the hatch period, because you don't want to have to apply chemicals every single day, hoping that, well, maybe today's the day the eggs hatch. So you put down a pesticide that has a residue, natural residue, of at least, a month or more. And that way, as the German roaches hatch, or fleas hatch, or, spider eggs, or whatever it is that you have problems getting rid of around your home, those eggs hatch and the babies are killed along with the adults, because that's your goal. If you can kill all the life cycles, you get rid of the bug that you've got in your house. So one of the problems with, let's go with essential oils, let's start with that one, is that while they do smell nice and they are, pleasant to have in your home, a lot of people use peppermint, cinnamon, lemongrass, stuff like that. They smell good. They make the house smell nice. But as far as longevity of pesticide, like a pesticide life cycle, you got to apply them every day. In fact, a lot of these oils will only repel bugs for a few hours. Very, very limited. And so that's just not very effective. They also, a lot of them don't even kill bugs. They're just designed around repelling the bugs. And so if you have a nest of ants, or ants is the easiest one to go after because they are the most obnoxious thing to get rid of. But ants can make a nest inside your wall. If you go around and spray peppermint oil around like the edges of your counter or cinnamon or something like that, what that does is it creates a repellent barrier in your kitchen. Well, if the ants are living in a windowsill inside your wall, then what is this going to do to them? Well, now you've put a repellent inside your house. You're not actually getting rid of the problem. You're driving them somewhere else because ants need to eat, right? But they already have a home inside your house. So you're not really taking care of the problem. You're just not seeing the problem anymore. But it's still there, especially carpenter ants and stuff that go in the wall that cause major damage to your home, similar to termites. They may be inside your walls, and then all you've done is put out a barrier that forces those ants to go forage for food somewhere else. That they're not crawling around on the counter, they're not crawling around on your floors anymore, but that doesn't mean they're not still living inside your wall doing damage, because that's their home. That's what they have made as their home in your home. So that's one of the problems with essential oils, is that while they may seem like they're working, they're actually causing you a greater problem down the line, and more damage and more money spent. And eventually you'll still have to go through a pesticide in order to get rid of them, because that's really the most effective way to get rid of ants when they're tearing your house apart. Now, small little teeny tiny ants like acrobat ants or sweet ants, some people call them sweet ants, odorous house ants, these types of carpenter ants are really, really teeny tiny. They don't do a lot of damage to your house. They do some, but mostly superficial. Those are the ones most people are spraying these oils around on their counters for, is because they're getting into their donuts, or they're getting into their sugar or their rice or whatever it is you've got on your counter, cereal, something like that. And so you spray the essential oils to keep them out of your food. Now, those ants live in the wall too. They'll live around windowsills and doors and stuff like that, and they can do little bits of damage. And like I said, you're just driving them back into the wall or outside to forage for food, but then they come back in the house and they live in your wall, continuing to do damage. And so that's one of the problems with essential oils. The way that we get rid of ants these days is, in the pest control industry, is we typically use a non-repellent type pesticide, a pesticide that will kill the ants very effectively, so they die, and then they're not able to forage for food. They're not able to look for food. They end up taking, some people will use baits for ants. They'll take in and put out a little bait. They take it back. They feed the colony. The adults die. The reproductives die. They all die. Babies, everything. And then the ants just disappear. They stop doing damage to your house. They stop foraging around your countertops. It's a win-win situation. The ants disappear. So, obviously pesticides are more effective at getting rid of bugs, while essential oils, diatomaceous earth, things like this may be effective at either killing or eliminating them for a very short period of time. Pesticides are more effective at killing bugs permanently. So you're not putting a Band-Aid on, a temporary, it's not a temporary solution. It's a permanent solution. That's why you use pesticides, because they're a permanent solution. People will say, well, what about safety? And this is the biggest complaint I get on my channel, is they'll talk to me and they'll say things like, you're just promoting pesticides. I would rather have essential oils. I would rather have these all-natural products in my house than your carcinogenic chemicals. Now, that is an attack on the pesticide industry. A lot of people have a fear of pesticides because of things that were done in the past. The chemicals like chloridane and other pesticides that build up in the human system, and pets and children, and can actually cause carcinogenic effects. Pesticides have changed. Now, there are some chemicals still on the market that can cause cancers and stuff like that. But most of the pesticides on the market don't. In fact, in my business, the chemicals that I use and the chemicals that I typically promote on my channel don't have carcinogenic effects at all. In fact, if you read the actual safety data sheet, now I always talk about reading the label and how important it is to follow the label and do what the label says of any pesticide that you use. The safety data sheet is just more information you can read about the same chemical and the different research that was done on that chemical in order to get it approved by the EPA. And they will have what is called an LD50 value. Now, an LD50 value, it's considered lethal dose. LD is lethal dose, meaning they're expected to give a bug or an animal, usually it's an animal, a certain amount of pesticide in order to kill that animal. All right, they have 100, let's say they have 100% of an animal. Let's just say 100 even. All right, 50% or 50 of those animals die from the LD50 value. That's how they get the LD50 value. The 50% or 50, because we're using 100 as a round number because 100 is easier to do math with. So you've got 100 animals. Out of the 100 animals, the 50 that don't die, or the 50% that don't die, they make a recovery. They don't die. So that's the LD50 value, how much they had to give to kill 50% of a target animal. But maybe it's 2 animals. Maybe they just give them enough to kill, 50% because they have 2 animals. So it would be 1. But in the pesticides that I use, for example, Crossfire, they couldn't kill anything with it. The only thing that died from Crossfire were fish. But fish are a unique type of a animal in that they breathe water. And so when they're down underwater and you put pesticide in their aquarium, they're of course I don't recommend breathing pesticides, like ever. Like you don't spray a liquid concentrate and then they just spray it in your mouth and breathe it in. You don't do that. Fish are actually living in the pesticide and they're breathing it into their body. And so they're a unique type of an animal. Most all pesticides are, death to fish. That's just the way it is. In fact, when you go into a house and you're treating, no matter how safe your pesticide is, usually it's still toxic to fish just because fish live in water. And Crossfire is so safe. Crossfire is such a safe pesticide that when they went to release the chemical, and this is from sales rep at MGK, actually said that when they were doing their studies on Crossfire, the EPA said it was such a safe pesticide that they didn't even have to include a signal word on the label. Signal words are caution, warning, danger, poison. Those words, they didn't even have to put one on it because it's not poisonous to human beings or house pets. And so, but now if a chemical comes back with an LD50 value of a lower quantity, meaning that anything above 5,000 parts per million is basically, non-toxic. But anything below that, meaning that they would have to give, they start actually reaching mortality, or they start having, animals get sick, or maybe they have problems losing hair, or, something like that. Then they would consider it a more toxic chemical, and they might come in and put a signal word on it like danger, or they might put a word on it like caution or something like that, because they actually did reach an effect when they were testing it on animals. And these are hundreds of tests that they do on animals. And that's how they know, like your free flea chemical you get at Walmart, that's how they know it's, to only use so much on your cat or your dog, because if you use more than that, they know from studies they've done that will actually kill your pet. So only follow the label. That's why it's important to follow the label, because the label is written specifically to keep you and your pets and your children safe, as long as you follow the label. So pesticides aren't, the whole point of that whole conversation is that pesticides really aren't as toxic as people would have you believe. They do not cause cancer like people would have you believe. Maybe things in other countries where they have different laws and they have chemicals that we have since banned in the United States of America. But the chemicals and the reason that they banned these chemicals in the United States is because they had carcinogenic effects because they did cause health concerns with human beings and they caused problems with people's pets. And so the government came in and said, look, this stuff is too toxic. We can't have this stuff in the environment. It's being exposed to our children in elementary schools. It's being exposed to the elderly in the hospitals. And we just can't have these chemicals around because they're toxic. They're causing health problems. So we have to get rid of them. That makes sense. You see what I'm saying? And the chemicals that we use now aren't like that. You know, people like to remember what happened in the past, but they fail to realize that a lot of those problems have been solved. So while people, but here's another thing. All natural chemicals. You know what's all natural that it occurs in the environment? It's all natural. Is arsenic. Arsenic is an all natural pesticide. People used to use it in pesticides and rodenticides. It's found in peach pits and apple seeds. It's arsenic stuff. It's actually a pretty deadly substance, but it's all natural. You know, people believe that these things that all natural means it won't hurt you, or food grade means it won't hurt you, but that's not true. It will hurt you. Diatomaceous earth will hurt you. And it's not even that effective to get rid of bugs. People will tell me, well, I see where people use it and it kills bugs. Why are you the only person on the internet that says that diatomaceous earth doesn't work? And I'm like, well, because I'm the only one that's willing to tell you the truth. The truth is diatomaceous earth does not work effectively. Now, like we talked before about the pesticide effects and how pesticides need to be able to last for several weeks, if not a month or more, in order to kill bugs. Diatomaceous earth is a dust. It takes too long to kill bugs. Now, by itself, I do not believe that diatomaceous earth is an option for pest control. Now, I'm going to say this. I'm going to explain, and people are going to say, aha! But let me explain myself. I have used diatomaceous earth in pest control. I have used it with pesticides. Not by itself, not all alone, but with other pesticides. Okay? It is a tool in the toolbox to use as a pest control substance. But it is not, it should never be considered as a sole, it just won't work. I've been in houses that were dusted with diatomaceous earth from top to bottom. They have crawling with bed bugs. They have bed bugs everywhere. If diatomaceous earth was so effective at the volume of powder that they have all over their house, you would think not a single bug would live in their house at all, if it was that effective. But it's not. Roaches. I've been in houses infested with cockroaches. Diatomaceous earth spread all over the house. Roaches crawling all over the house. Very, very prevalent all over the house. If diatomaceous earth was that effective, then why aren't all the roaches dead? Because people assume that it slices them up and they die within just a few hours of exposure, which is not true. It actually takes a very long time to kill cockroaches using diatomaceous earth. It takes a very long time to kill bed bugs using diatomaceous earth. Will it kill some bed bugs? Yes. Will it kill some roaches? Yes. But the majority of the bug problem is taking too long to eliminate. The bugs are able to continue to reproduce, have babies, and that is, like I was explaining, that's the problem. You need to break the life cycle, stop them from reproducing so you stop having bug problems. If you're just spreading this stuff around because it's cheap and somebody on YouTube said it was really effective and worked for them, well, that's great. And you can continue to do that if you want. But I will tell you that a dust is not safe to use inside your home. People will use diatomaceous earth in their yards for things like slugs and crickets and grubs and stuff in the yard. And that's fine. If you want to do that, that's fine. That's your prerogative. Treat your yard, that's fine. But when you bring it in your house and you expose yourself and your family to it, you better be sure that it's safe. And diatomaceous earth is not safe. In these houses where people have this stuff all over the place, it's in the air everywhere. You don't realize, because most people don't realize this, but when you live in a house and it gets dusty in your house, the dust actually will continue to stir up in the air. It doesn't just sit on surfaces like on a dusty shelf or a dusty nightstand or whatever. It doesn't just stay there. When you walk through the house, or when your air conditioner cuts on, your central heating air system will cut on, it will actually blow air across those surfaces and stir some, not all, but some of that dust will get stirred back up into the air. People will tell me, well, I applied diatomaceous earth and I wore a mask so it's safe. Because diatomaceous earth does aggravate your lungs. It is really bad, causes silicosis. It is a silicate. Silicates are carcinogenic. People will say, well, that's different silica. No, all silicates are carcinogenic. Silica is carcinogenic. It is on the cancer-causing list of substances. Silica, period. It is a carcinogen. And about 98% of diatomaceous earth is silica. So, like those little packets that come in your tennis shoes that you buy to keep them dry, silica, that's in diatomaceous earth. All diatomaceous earth, even food-grade diatomaceous earth, has silica in it. It's the carrier of the dust. So, it doesn't matter if it's food grade or pool grade or whatever people want to throw around out there, these catchphrases they like to use. Silica is silica, and it is harmful to your lungs. It is not safe to use in your house. So, this is the thing that you got to understand, is that when you put dust in your house, the only place that's safe for dust, if you really are sure you want to use dust and you're hell-bent on using it, then take off your outlet covers and dust inside your outlets, not where the electrical components are, around the outside of the box. You don't want to shock yourself, but you dust around outside the box, inside the wall, where you're not going to be exposed to it. And if the air cuts on, it's not going to stir it back up in the air. If you put that stuff out around where you sleep, like on your mattress or your box spring or in your bed, which is what people do when they're trying to kill bed bugs, that's really unsafe for you to lay in your bed and breathe that stuff into your lungs. It's not safe for you. It's just dangerous, and that's why I'm saying pesticides are safer. Pesticides are actually proven safer. Nobody has gone to the hospital for cancer because they treated their bed with crossfire. No one has gone to the hospital with breathing problems, lung problems, from treating their mattress with crossfire, because it doesn't cause those problems. But there has been an uptick of people going to the hospital for respiratory type diseases from dusting their mattress with things like diatomaceous earth, silica dust, Cemexa. Cemexa is a silicate. That is actually pure silica dust. They're not safe to use around your bed. Stop buying these things. Stop putting them around your family. Stop poisoning yourself. They're not safe. I don't care if people are saying it's all natural. Like I said, not all natural things are always safe. Like arsenic. Arsenic's all natural. It's not safe. Diatomaceous earth is all natural. It's not safe. Essential oils aren't natural. Oh, can't believe he said that. He's just working for Monsanto. This is the comments I get in my comment section, believe it or not. What is all natural about taking, hundreds of peppermint leaves, putting them in a bucket and compressing them down until oil squirts out? All right? That's not natural. That's still a processed material. It is still highly processed. Okay? It is not natural. It doesn't happen naturally in the environment. peppermint oil, cinnamon oil, clove oil, all these things, they are not produced in a naturally occurring environment. You have to actually, as a human being, take these things, harvest them, and produce it. There is production involved in this, okay? There's a lot of manufacturing that goes into creating essential oils. And they have been linked to SIDS in babies, sudden infant death syndrome, when babies die in their sleep because people are using a diffuser or some kind of an essential oil in the room with the baby, and it causes SIDS. Peppermint is actually toxic to cats. People will spray that stuff around in their kitchen and then wonder why their cat gets sick, because they've sprayed peppermint oil and they don't understand that somebody on YouTube said, hey, use this peppermint oil. I used it in my house. It got rid of my ants. It was so great. They don't ever stop to think, what is this going to do to my cat? Peppermint's actually toxic to cats. They tell you that if you're going to have a peppermint plant in a pot, because people will grow like a little peppermint plant in a pot on their counter, and they'll take the peppermint leaves, make tea and stuff like that with it. They say to keep it out of the cat's reach, because if a cat comes along and eats peppermint leaf, it can hurt the cat. It can even kill them. It can kill them dead. Peppermint is toxic to cats, but people spray that stuff around. Cinnamon. My wife and my sons all have horrible reaction to cinnamon oil. People will take that cinnamon oil and put it in a diffuser, and every time my wife goes into a room with that stuff in the house, she can't stay. She gets all snotty. Her eyes start to water. She gets miserable. It makes her absolutely miserable. And it does it to a lot of people. Cinnamon is not as safe as people would have you believe. And that's the one, I believe, that's actually linked to SIDS, that and peppermint oil. So understand that these things, while they may seem safe and people claim a lot of things, the problem with essential oils is they don't have to be approved by anybody. They don't have to be, it's just whatever somebody has said it does is good enough, because there's no regulation. There's nobody out there saying, oh, well, we know that this won't kill cats because we've tested it on this many animals. In fact, a lot of essential oils will even say right on the packaging, we have a strict policy against testing these on pets. None of these products have been tested or tried on animals. And so if you don't try the pesticide or the natural pesticide on an animal, then how do you even know if it's safe to use or not? How do you know? Because it's never been tested. You're going to bring it in your house and use something in your house that's never actually been tested on animals. You don't even know if it's going to hurt anything at all. You don't know if it'll hurt you. You don't know if it'll hurt your children. You don't know if it'll hurt your cat or your dog or your pet bunny or your hamster or what. You don't know. The goal of my channel is not to sell pesticides. The goal of my channel is to help people eliminate their bug problems safely. This is my goal. I don't want people to poison themselves. I don't want people to poison their cats or their dogs or their children. I don't want this to happen. I'm trying to explain to you an easy, effective way to get rid of bugs in your house. Safe and effective. Okay? I don't want you to hurt yourself. I don't want you to waste your money either. Essential oils for pest control, diatomaceous earth for pest control, these are things that are a waste of money. If you don't understand what you're doing, just stop. Just hire somebody, or watch my channel. I've got so many videos on here teaching people how to do pest control correctly, safely, and effectively. Another comment I get on a lot of my videos is this going to hurt my dog? Is this going to hurt my cat? Like my flea videos and my bed bug videos. They'll say things like, can I still use this around my pets? Is it going to hurt my pets? Is it going to hurt my children? The truth of the matter is, no, it won't. If you follow the label and you apply the chemical correctly, like the label says to do, you're not going to hurt anybody. Most labels will say, stay out of the treated area until it's dry. Usually that's the only thing you have to do, is stay out of a treated area until it's dry. Once then, you can go back in there. You live like a normal person, and you're not going to hurt yourself or your children. So follow your labels. The label is the law. Hopefully this video has been, beneficial and taught you the difference between, natural options and actual pest control options that work. And the TLDR, if you fast forward to see the end of the video, is pesticides work. Essential oils, diatomaceous earth, and these other options, they just don't work. They're not viable solutions for your pest control issues. So, y'all have a good day. I appreciate it. Don't forget, like and subscribe to the channel and follow me, because every Thursday night we get on here live and I answer your questions via phone call. You can call me, you can text me, you can do whatever you want, and I will answer your calls Thursday nights, typically after 9 o'clock. We get together and we chat about bugs. So if y'all want to do that, you're welcome to come along and drop in on us. And I've got a really good audience, got a good community I've developed over the years I've been on YouTube. Everybody's really helpful. I have a Discord channel. You can come log into Discord and ask people advice. I'm there. I was actually answering questions last night. So if you guys are interested in that, go ahead. All of my links are in the description below. All links to pesticides and stuff I use for my business are down there too. And y'all have a real great day. Appreciate it. And we'll see you in the next one. Thanks a lot.